Hi there! In this video I'm going to do the 3 examples in the other trig functions section. So we're going to do the tangent of 150 degrees, then the cotangent of pi over 2, and the secant of 4 pi over 3. So we'll start with the tangent of 150 degrees. You can flip back to your original definitions and see that tangent is sine over cosine. So this will be equal to the sine of 150 degrees divided by the cosine of 150 degrees, just by definition of tangent. So I need to go find what this sine value is and what this cosine value is for 150. So you're going to do that in whatever kind of routine that you've worked out from the previous section. What I usually do is decide where that angle is. So I'll give myself some space to work after. Alright, 150 is 30 degrees shy of 180. So 150 is this angle right here. So it's like the low angle in the third quadrant, or sorry, the second quadrant. So this is 150. Alright, so this is going to be on the same bow tie as 30 degrees. So 30 degrees has coordinates root 3 over 2, 1/2. So over here, we'll have the same sine and cosine value, right there, same sine and cosine, except I can tell that the cosine value will be negative because the x value of that point is negative. So the cosine of 150 is negative root 3 over 2, and the sine is positive 1/2. What you could also do is pull out your image of the entire unit circle with all the information on it at once, and just kind of look at this location here. These coordinates will be right there for you. Okay, so I'm going to put 1/2 in for the sine, and then the cosine is negative root 3 over 2. Alright, so this is correct, but it's not done, right? This looks kind of messy. It's a fraction of fractions. So what I'm going to do is actually compute the division. So 1/2 divided by negative root 3 over 2 is the same as 1/2 times negative 2 over root 3. What I've done here is multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator. So this 1/2 right here is this 1/2 here. So instead of being divided by root 3 over 2, it's being multiplied by 2 over root 3, and then I've kind of included that negative sign as well. So what I've done is flipped the denominator upside down. So when I compute here, the 2's will cancel each other out, and what I get as a final answer is negative 1 over the square root of 3. Some people write this number as negative root 3 over 3, but there won't be a need in this class to format it in any sort of special way. As long as you've done the cancellation, that's possible. This will be your final answer. Alright, so let's move on to the cotangent of pi over 2. We'll look back to see the definition of cotangent is cosine over sine. So it's pretty much tangent upside down. So I can tell I'm going to need the cosine and sine of pi over 2. So I'm going to locate pi over 2. That's 90 degrees, which is right here. So the coordinates of that point, either from memory or from looking at the unit circle, those coordinates will be 0, 1. So 0 is my cosine value and 1 is my sine value. So I have 0 over 1, and this is a little bit weird, but 0 divided by anything is 0. So my final answer here is just 0. So notice that sometimes we don't actually get an answer. So if I had a 0 in the denominator, like I had 1 over 0 instead of this, then I actually wouldn't get 0, then I would have not a solution. So I'd say D and E. Okay, so the last one on my list here is the secant of 4 pi over 3. Secant is 1 over cosine, if you look back at its original definition. So to compute this, what I need to do is go find the cosine of 4 pi over 3, plug it into that spot, and then simplify from there. So again, find that cosine value in whatever way your brain likes to do it. 4 pi over 3 is going to be 8 pi over 6. which puts me right here. So this is going to be on the 60-degree little bow tie, so 60 degrees is its reference angle. The coordinates at 60 degrees are 1/2 root 3 over 2. And because we're in the third quadrant, both of these numbers will be negative at this particular point. So what I really needed was the cosine, so it's just that negative 1/2 that I really care about. That's what I'm going to plug in over here. So divided by 1/2 is the same as times 2 over 1. I'll keep that minus sign. So my final answer here is actually -2.